It was a quiet Tuesday morning when I walked into the dealership. The sun was shining brightly, casting a golden glow over the rows of polished cars in the lot. The air smelled faintly of rubber and fresh wax, and the sound of distant traffic hummed in the background. I wasn't dressed to impress, just a plain t-shirt, faded jeans, and a pair of well-worn sneakers. I didn't look like someone who could afford a car, let alone own the entire dealership. But that was the point. I wanted to see how they treated people who didn't fit their idea of a customer. I wanted to see if this place, which was now mine, was as welcoming as I hoped it would be. I'd bought the dealership just a week earlier. It was a milestone I'd worked toward for years. Growing up, my family didn't have much. We lived paycheck to paycheck, and I learned early on that the world didn't always treat people like us fairly. But my parents taught me the value of hard work and perseverance. They told me that if I stayed focused and kept pushing, I could create something meaningful. This dealership was part of that dream, a place where I could build something of my own and hopefully make a difference. But as I walked through the glass doors that morning, I wasn't greeted with smiles or offers of assistance. Instead, I felt the weight of their stares. The salespeople glanced at me, their eyes lingering for a moment before they looked away. No one approached me. No one asked if I needed help. I wandered around the showroom, running my fingers along the hood of a sleek sedan, pretending to examine the price tag on a sporty convertible. Still, no one came. Then I noticed him. A tall man in a crisp suit, his tie perfectly knotted, his shoes shining like mirrors. He was standing near the back of the room, watching me with a frown. I could feel his eyes on me, sizing me up, judging me. After a few minutes, he walked over, his footsteps echoing on the polished floor. "Can I help you?" he asked, but his tone wasn't friendly. It was sharp, dismissive, like he was already annoyed I was there. "Just looking," I said, keeping my voice calm and steady. He crossed his arms over his chest and tilted his head, his expression hardening. "We don't allow loitering here. If you're not serious about buying a car, you'll have to leave." I felt my chest tighten, a familiar ache settling in my heart. I'd been in situations like this before, times when people looked at me and saw only the color of my skin, not the person underneath. But this time, it hurt more. This was my dealership, my dream. And here was one of my own employees, treating me like I didn't belong. "I'm just browsing," I said again, trying to keep my voice even. "Isn't that what customers do?" He didn't like that. His face turned red, and he took a step closer, his voice rising. "Listen, I don't know what you're trying to pull, but you need to leave, now." I could feel the anger bubbling up inside me, but I took a deep breath. This wasn't just about me. It was about something bigger, about fairness, about respect, about the kind of place I wanted this dealership to be. "What's your name?" I asked. "That's none of your business," he snapped. Then he turned and waved at a security guard who was standing near the door. "Hey, escort this man out. He's causing a disturbance." The guard walked over, his expression neutral, and gestured toward the door. I didn't resist. I let him lead me out. But before I left, I turned to the manager one last time. "You're making a big mistake," I said. He just smirked. "Yeah, sure. Have a nice day." The door closed behind me, and I stood there for a moment, my heart pounding in my chest. The sun was still shining, the cars still gleaming, but everything felt different now. I walked to my car, got in, and sat there for a few minutes trying to calm down. My hands were shaking, and my mind was racing. This wasn't how I'd imagined my first day as the owner. I pulled out my phone and called the general manager, who knew who I was. "I'm coming back in," I said. "And I want everyone in the showroom in 5 minutes." When I walked back through those glass doors, the atmosphere was completely different. The general manager was there, looking nervous. The salespeople were gathered in a huddle, whispering to each other. And the manager who'd kicked me out? He was standing off to the side, his face pale, his hands clenched at his sides. The general manager cleared his throat. "Everyone, I'd like you to meet the new owner of this dealership." The room went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. I looked around at their faces, seeing the shock, the embarrassment, the fear. But I wasn't there to humiliate anyone. I was there to make a point. "I came here today to see how this place operates," I said, my voice steady but firm, "to see how you treat people. And what I saw, it wasn't good. I was treated like I didn't belong here, like I wasn't good enough to be a customer. And if that's how you treat me, how do you treat others who walk through that door? The manager who'd kicked me out tried to speak. Sir, I had no idea. That's the problem, I said, cutting him off. You didn't know who I was, so you made assumptions. And those assumptions were wrong. This dealership is going to be a place where everyone feels welcome, no matter who they are or how they look. If you can't do that, then you don't belong here. I didn't fire him on the spot. I wanted to give him a chance to change, to learn from this. But I made it clear that things were going to be different from now on. We were going to do better. We were going to be better. As I left the showroom, I felt a mix of emotions: anger, sadness, but also hope. This wasn't just about me. It was about creating a place where no one would ever feel the way I did that day. And if I could do that, then maybe all the struggles I'd been through would be worth it. Hey everyone, if this story moved you, if it made you think, or if it reminded you why we need to keep having these conversations, please take a moment to like this video. It really helps spread awareness. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Have you ever witnessed or experienced something like this? Let's talk about it. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're here to share real, powerful stories that need to be heard. Lastly, share this with your friends and family. The more people who see this, the more we can bring awareness and change. Thank you for watching and being part of this journey. Let's keep pushing forward, together.